Okay.
No, I was in Denver for work.
It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the March 4th, 2025 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Alvarez,
Here.
Councilmember Ricky,
Here.
Vice Mayor Bavaro,
Here.
Councilmember Williams,
Here.
Councilmember Wright,
Here.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton,
Here.
and Mayor Zwollen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Jeremy Brown, chaplain with Doctors Medical Center.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How are you all? Thank you for letting me be here for just a few moments. You know, before I offer the invocation, I just wanted to take a pause here. Life goes by too fast. Life is short. I'm keenly aware of that in my job. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the sacrifices you all make for the residents of Modesto. You know, thank you for choosing to engage in conversations, even when you know, someone else's opinions or perspectives or convictions might come across as hateful or even disrespectful to you. I've sat in the back a couple of times and just seen some of that. So thank you for your patience and your graciousness in those situations. But most of all, thank you for choosing to just remember the humanity of governance, you know, that there are people involved here. So with that, let me pray for you. Gracious God, as we pause, and as we take a deep breath, God, we remember that each of those breaths comes from you. God, thank you for the ways that you have knit this particular group of people together, each with their unique abilities and skills and gifts. May they truly experience your never-ending, never giving up, never running out kind of love. As these leaders gather this evening, would you just give them clarity of mind? I humbly ask you to give them guidance, but also doses of compassion and empathy. Please remind them of their calling to serve in this way. With life moving by so fast, with overwhelming pressures at times, God, please bless them each one individually in their personal lives with rest and refreshment and rejuvenation. May their minds, bodies, and souls be refreshed by you. And when challenges seem to hover like dark clouds, shine your face upon them, God. Give them the hope of tomorrow. God, I also humbly ask that you would bless all those gathered here with a touch of your grace and mercy. May your grace bond us together as neighbors. And finally, please cover this time with a blanket of peace. I pray all these things in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes, and there are blue speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? Seeing none. There was no closed session this evening, so there will be no report. Next on the agenda is public comment. As noted on the agenda, public comment will only be in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Thank you all for being here tonight. The City of Modesto Council meetings are a place where everyone is encouraged to listen, share views, and participate in the decision-making process that benefits our community. Your engagement is valuable, and it helps our council and city staff collaborate on finding solutions that enhance the quality of life for the residents of Modesto. To be fair and equitable, every individual has the right to speak at this council meeting. However, it is imperative that we foster and maintain a respectful environment for the well-being and safety for everyone present at these proceedings. It is the mayor's responsibility to preserve strict order and decorum at all council meetings. Pursuant to the Charter of the City of Modesto, Article 6, the mayor, Section 601, Powers and duties of mayor. The mayor shall have the authority to preserve order at all council meetings and to remove or cause the removal of any person from any meeting of the council for disorderly conduct, to enforce the rules of the council, and to determine the order of business under the rules of the council. Accordingly, the city council meeting decorum rules are as follows. Please be respectful of all presenters, council members, staff, and members of the public. Please refrain from clapping other than following a presentation. All speakers are encouraged to state their name and city of residence. All questions must be directed to the mayor. Please do not block the view of others by holding signs up during council meetings. Time limits for public comments is 3 minutes, but may be limited at the discretion of the mayor to manage the business of the council. Speaking over others or interrupting while others have the floor is not permitted. Cell phones should be turned off or should be set to vibrate during meetings. Thank you for your patience and participation as we work together to address the issues impacting the community. Maintaining order and decorum during the city council meeting is crucial in the effective governance of Modesto and ensuring the council's decisions are reflective of the community's priorities, and that anyone disrupting the council may be asked to leave. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the city council is asked to follow the rules of decorum. They are posted at the entrance of the chambers. I currently have one blue card, and that is Todd Aronson. Welcome.
Good evening, Todd Aronson, CEO, Visit Modesto, and I too thank you for all the hard work that you do. I want to share some quick updates tonight that I believe you'll be interested in. 7 years ago this month, I presented a business plan for Visit Modesto to the city manager, who accepted it and passed it on to acceptance by the city council. That was accepted in May of 2019 by council. Tourism growth in that plan was focused on awareness of Modesto as a great place to stay and play. Growing our shoulder months for occupancy, specifically February, March, August, and December, and increasing our visibility in the youth sports market. We've been able to impact all of those but the last, and that one's beyond our control. We launched the Almond Blossom Cruise in February of 2020 as the pandemic started to shut down the world. We didn't give up every year since, and the Almond Blossom Cruise has grown every year. Modesto has been recognized by Forbes magazine, Better Homes and Gardens, Travel and Leisure magazine, National Geographic Traveler, the New York Times, and more. What I really wanted to share were the experiences and results of the last few weeks. And the people, I don't know if you've been out there, are really amazed at what our community can deliver, not only by Mother Nature, but as people and businesses. Our hotel results were up over 11% to last year based upon national reports from a week ago. We've had tens of thousands of visitors. They've come from countries around the world: Korea, the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, France, Canada, India, and more. They come from just about every state and even every county in California. Our partners have used terms like double the business of last year. It's so busy, I'm scared. They are still coming, and our partners have had to hire staff. Just last weekend, we sold out our tour bus. Yes, a tour bus of Modesto. We had 2 this year. The first one was sold out. Some people canceled because they were sick. We know that grunge is going around. Last year, we sold out 3 tour buses. The Orchard Dinner sold out last weekend. We sold out both of the plein air art in the Orchard events. That was 40 people. There were lines out the doors of the businesses on our bus tour this last weekend. Rodent Farms had to park down Clarabelle Avenue. Shabika Olive Oil was standing room only with a line at the register, and our restaurants all over were very busy. We had over 100,000 users on our social channels and 100,000 page views just in the last month on our website. Instagram is bursting at the rim. We did that with 4 team members whose productivity is just making Modesto popular. I want to publicly thank that team, our agricultural partners, our lodging partners, and the people in Modesto who welcome these guests from all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward under public comment? All right, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Seeing none, will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 1, consider approving the minutes for the February 25th, 2025 council meeting. Item 2, consider accepting the 2024 general plan annual progress report and authorizing staff to submit it to the state of California. Item 3, consider approving the addition of Moore Iacofano Goldsman to the on-call consultant services agreement for municipal planning services and amending the agreements with Precision Civil Engineering, Harrison Associates Incorporated, and Environmental Science Associates by decreasing the agreements by $75,000 per consultant for a total amount not to exceed $900,000. Item 4, consider approving the First Amendment to the agreement with Scott's PPE Recon Incorporated, Lodi, California, for professional protection equipment, cleaning, inspection, and repair services, increasing the agreement amount by $200,000. Item 5, consider approving the agreements for portable toilet rental services to United Site Services Incorporated, Modesto, California, and Clean Site Service of Highlands, California, for a total amount not to exceed $655,770 over 5 years.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye. Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports at this time? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Friday, I did a ride out with Station 5, Fire Station 5, and was on both engine number 5 and truck number 5. And it allowed me to see what this council has done with regards to the advanced life support that we have put on every engine in the city of Modesto. We had 5 or 6 calls, maybe 7 calls. All of them were medical calls that day. And we had a paramed on both truck and engine. And I was able to see on these calls the quick response by the paramedic getting into the situation, or getting in and dealing with the situation with the monitors that they have to do EKGs, test oxygen, blood pressure. It's like a portable emergency room. And it was saving so much time. And you can tell this is really a big deal that we have done because we're saving lives. And some of the calls were a person thought they were having a heart attack, shortness of breath, dizziness, and unable to get out of bed. And when the ambulance got there, the paramed had done all the work and was able to relay to the ambulance this, the EKG and all of the medical work that they did. And it was just amazing to see that. And so it saved so much time, and what we've done was good work as a council, taking the Measure H money, and we're putting these monitors in our the advanced life support on our trucks. So this is good stuff that we're doing as a council, and we all should be very proud of the accomplishment. And now what we need to do is to make sure we have paramedics on each engine, because if you have an advanced life support, you don't have a paramedic on board, it just becomes a basic life support, which, take your blood pressure and we'll wait for the ambulance. So it was a pleasure to be out with Station 5. Very professional work. Thank you, Mayor.
Next is Councilmember Escudilla Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. So tomorrow, I will be part of a committee, that is the Appointments Committee. We will be having our monthly Appointments Committee meeting, and we will be making recommendations to the Collective Council for appointments. This is a wonderful opportunity for individuals to get engaged. We have over 24 boards, commissions, and committees in the city of Modesto, ranging from golf, culture, to airport, disabilities, any interest. We even have multiple oversight committees. Vice Mayor Bavaro referenced Measure H. We have a Measure H oversight committee. So a multitude of boards, committees, and commissions. They include the collective over 185 Modestans sit on those boards, commissions, and committees. These are individuals that really want to step up and be part of the solution and really want to make a positive difference in the city of Modesto. So we encourage all those that want to be part of the solution, want to be part of the process, to go onto our website, modestogov.com, to see if there's any interest or any area that they might want to apply, and there's an application process. If you have any questions, feel free to call our office or call me. I would be more than happy to help you with that process. Also, I was delighted last Thursday, Thursday the 27th, we held one of our first 5-year consolidated plan workshops. This particular workshop was held in my district. We had a good attendance by community members that went out and expressed their thought and feedback on how they saw, they provided input into this process. So what this process is a requirement from the federal government, specifically the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, other words known as HUD. They require us, in order to get federal funding, to do this every 5 years. We did it. It's required to include community involvement, and we had a good attendance. I believe the day before they were in District 2. I heard there was phenomenal attendance. The program was done in both English and Spanish, so we had input from all sectors of our community, and staff took this input and will inform the ultimate final report. But yeah, so I was glad that our individuals came out and supported this cause. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Next is Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Visit Modesto, especially Todd Erickson, for all the work you've done for the last 4 years on really promoting Modesto. Every once in a while, I'll get an email showing different publications that are talking about Modesto and the great things that's happening here in Modesto. And that's one of the great things that Visit Modesto does, is get our name out throughout the world to let people know that Modesto is a great place to be. I remember being down on 10th and J, ran across a individual from England to visit. He just came over here to visit Modesto, and it was he couldn't believe how great Modesto was. So Todd, thank you, thank your staff for all the great work, and I think it's important that you come to this council on a quarterly basis or whatever, and just give us an update on what's going on. Because a lot of times, a lot of us get so busy, we don't realize the other part that's being done to really move Modesto, to get it out to the public. I just want to thank you for all you do.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm looking forward to the city taking on the smoke shop ordinance. Smoke shops in our city are breaking the law every single day. They've been caught selling unlicensed cannabis, meth, flavored tobacco, gambling, even selling meth pipes. Many of these businesses don't have a business license or pay taxes. And it's important to understand the fundamental difference between a smoke shop and a dispensary. A dispensary that sells cannabis, they're licensed, they're limited to 10 locations throughout the entire city of Modesto. They pay taxes, They have strict ID checks and 24/7 security. Smoke shops, on the other hand, are not licensed. They don't have ID or security requirements. They often sell to minors and are frequently cited for selling meth pipes, mushrooms, flavored tobacco, and unlicensed cannabis. The smoke shop ordinance isn't about outlawing your local mini mart or a bodega. It's about making sure that retailers that are selling drugs, meth pipes, and unlicensed cannabis are held accountable, especially when they're selling items to minors. So I look forward to the city being proactive and stopping smoke shop drug dealing operations in our city. I also want to talk about our blight abatement team. Modesto's blight abatement team is making a huge difference in our streets and alleys. As a lot of us know, blight is a huge issue in Modesto, but the city's taking it head on, and it's not going to stop, and I want to thank them for their hard work and their dedication. And finally, I also want to applaud Visit Modesto for their hard work. I was driving on Highway 132 the other day on my way back from the airport, and I'm looking out the right side of my car, and there are probably a dozen cars just right in the orchard over there, in the almond blossoms, taking photos. I don't know if that's part of our tour, but it was pretty intense seeing all these people out there touring our area. Really proud of that. And it makes me feel very good when I see, publications like Forbes and the New York Times saying nice things about Modesto. It's very important for the future of this city. And I just want to say I really appreciate your work. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I too, Todd, thank you for bringing that information to us. It's always good to kind of catch up and know what's going on. But I want you to know, every time I see those blossoms, I think of you. I don't know why it's that way, but it is that way. Also, on Saturday night, we were able to give a MLK Legacy Award to Gladys Williams at the MJC event that the City of Modesto was a part of, in part of sponsorship. And so just want to congratulate her for that. Also, this coming Saturday is the Freedom Fund NAACP dinner at the Plaza at 6 o'clock, and that is definitely open to the public, and you can find all the rest of that information online. Roosevelt Park, the Garden Club will be Friday morning at 10 o'clock at Roosevelt Park. They will be planting an oak tree. It's the start of Arbor Day, and so they are celebrating it with planting a tree. It's free to the public if anyone wants to come out. And then Sunday. Sunday was an interesting day because I was at MJC in the auditorium watching the fire department versus the police department in a fundraiser for POW. And I'm sure you know who won. No, it wasn't the fire department. It was the Modesto Police Department. And how did they win, and what were they doing? They were on donkeys. I knew I would hear some kind of motion in the room, like what? They were literally on donkeys, and it was 10-minute quarters, 4 quarters, and believe it or not, Modesto Police Chief made 3 shots. We all were shocked, even my grandson. But for the most part, it was a fundraiser. It was well done, and it was for POW, a fundraiser. So we appreciate that. And I do understand. I was reminded by Councilmember Bavaro that I think they won because they changed donkeys. So maybe that was the case. With that being said, that concludes what I have to say today. Thank you, Mayor.
Are you sure?
You're welcome. I just wanted to report on another celebration of Martin Luther, of Black History Month empowerment. The Cesar Chavez Community Celebration Committee had a luncheon that Councilmember Williams and Vice Mayor Bavaro was in attendance at that also. And they had a panel. It was very well done, and great food, and really enjoyable to spend time together. And then I was honored to be invited to speak to welcome the Appraisal Institute members for the annual spring conference at the DoubleTree. And so it was great to be with appraisers and to be able to have an opportunity to express appreciation for their work and to share a little bit about what we're looking forward to as far as economic development and housing in the city of Modesto. That's it. Any other comments from council members or reports? All right. Does the city manager have any comments and reports? All right. Next on the agenda is hearings. Item 6, a hearing to consider approving the application of Lennar Homes of California LLC for the rezone of approximately 22.6 acres in the Kiernan Business Park specific plan from specific plan zone to planned development zone P-D 617. And we will have a staff report from Jessica Hill.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Jessica Hill, Director of Community and Economic Development. So a little bit of background. The area in Pellendale, American, and Bangs used to be zoned mixed use. And in 2022, the council actually shifted it from business park to mixed use. So a portion of the approved tentative subdivision map, the Bridges, is to divide these 35 acres into 198 small unit single-family residential lots and 12 acres for a 312 multifamily residential project. And for the project before us today, it's the 189 single-family homes, each of them which has a lot size between 45 to 70 feet each. So for context of the project itself, here is a map of the surrounding area. So some of the surrounding area is the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Bank of Stockton, and the Calvary Chapel Church. And so the green area on the top is the 12 acres for the future apartment complex, and the area below that in yellow is the area we're speaking about today is for the 189 single-family homes. So just for context, I wanted you guys to be aware of the apartments, and so this is the apartment complex that's already been approved. They currently have building permits in, and we anticipate construction later this year. So the action tonight is a proposed rezone to a planned development. And so what is being proposed is a 189 lot single family development that will be gated. It will have private internal streets, common area lots, and then a park storm drain basin lot. The planned development zone is there to help assist with facilitate the setbacks for the homes that are sitting on each of those 189 lots. So for context, in the Kiernan Business Park specific plan, they have specific setback amounts for both front yards, street side yards, as well as side setbacks. And so we're proposing some amendments to those to have smaller setbacks to really align with other housing developments within Modesto. And some other examples is we have small lot development in Tivoli, and most recently approved is the Crossings that also have these smaller lot developments. So in partnership with Lennar Homes, they do this type of development in many different communities. And one of the big things that staff wanted to ensure that we pointed out is the 8-yard side yard separation between homes. And so Lennar has done this in many different communities, some pictures above, Tracy Hills, Mountain House, Lathrop, as well as Manteca. So as part of our analysis, the staff prepared an initial study and negative declaration for the project to align with our CEQA component, and it was taken to our Planning Commission on February 3rd, 2025 with a 7-0 vote. So today we have 3 recommendations. One is regarding the motion and waiving of the first reading of the ordinance, the resolution approving our development plan, and then adopting our negative declaration for the rezone. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions from council members regarding item 6? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, did you say what size the square footage of the houses are? I know you said the land was about 3,500.
The houses will range, and I do have Lennar Homes here to speak
Okay.
to that. They're going to be around 2,000 square foot homes.
2,000. And it is safe to say that it's an average of 3,400 square foot, the property? You said 45 by
45 by
75?
70.
Okay. That's it.
Great.
All right, any other questions regarding this item from council members? No? All right. Thank you very much for the staff report. I will now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding this item?
It's Kevin McClarty, District 1. I just wanted to know, Mayor, if this is going to entail Bangs Avenue. There's a nice little farmhouse on Bangs Avenue with some almond orchards. Are you going to take that out? I'm not exactly sure what.
All right, maybe, Jessica, if you'd like to come forward and step
Yeah.
aside, Mr. McClarty, and then if we can put the map up again.
Thanks, Scotty. So part of the development, it's actually going to be part of our CFD that comes to council next week, but it will include the improvements along Bangs Avenue. And so Bangs Avenue design is currently happening, but it will include roundabouts on both the corner of American and Bangs, as well as Bangs and future Bruno Parkway.
All right, thank you. And maybe at some point you can meet with her individually to talk specifically about which farmhouse you're referring to, and maybe it will bring more clarity.
Bangs and Dale, that intersection right there, and then you, by the canal. You know what I'm talking about? Right behind the canal along Bangs, which is now farmland, so all that farmland
So
is gonna
Kevin,
be-
I'm going to suggest that you meet individually to get clarity on specifically which
Okay.
areas. It gets too confusing
Okay,
to talk
all right.
about
Okay.
which very specific.
Okay,
Because it's
all right.
pretty clear on the map, I think, what this development
Okay, all right,
entails and what
all
we're
right, thank
voting
you.
on tonight. All right, thank you. Any other comments from members of the public? Okay, welcome.
Mayor Zwallen, members of the council, I'm Steve Garrett with Lennar Homes, California. We're based in San Ramon, California. And before I get started, I wanted to take a moment and thank Jessica, Catherine, Tristan, and Toby for all of their efforts and assistance in our application over these past few months. They've been a pleasure to work with. This is our first time to Modesto. We have been looking for the right piece of property in the right place for quite some time, and we found it in this Bridges location, so it's something that we're very excited to be involved in and doing. And what we generally find is when we come to a city, if things go well and we work well with the city and the staff, we like to keep coming back. We're very relationship oriented. So what I agree with Jessica's comments and presentation. I won't be redundant about technical aspects of setbacks and those kinds of things. The only thing I would add is that what we've tried to do is create kind of a cohesive community with different opportunities for different home sizes for the people that we think are going to want to live there. And then we've also taken a good look at what we think is the market and what we think the Modesto home buyer is looking for. But we're looking at homes sizes ranging from about 1,600 feet to about 2,400 feet. And then we also came to the conclusion that we thought this was a home buyer that wanted a regular sized backyard. These are small home sites, as has been pointed out by Councilman Williams, but we are going to try to keep them, they're a minimum 10 feet, but in general, we're trying to keep them at 15 feet. And then in addition to that, we wanted a conventional parking area for each homeowner, meaning about an 18-foot, to us, about an 18-foot driveway with a 2-car garage. So those are some of the things that we saw initially. We're also trying to create a street scene that's inviting, and what I mean by that is the garages are set back, and the living areas and porch elements and those kinds of things are out front, so that when you're driving down the street, I think we're all accustomed to seeing what I like to call is the sea of garage doors, and we're trying to avoid that with this design, and some of the photographs that Jessica shared this evening kind of demonstrate that. But those are some of the things that we're trying to do with the design of the development, and to make the community, an inviting place where people are going to want to buy a home and live. And then in addition to that, the other things that we've been sensitive to with the side yard setbacks, we do have a minimum of 8 feet of separation home to home, and have had a lot of success with that in other communities. But at the edge along Pellendale and American and some of those areas, those homes will tend to be the smaller homes. So those setbacks in general will be more on the order of 10 feet of separation. In other words, 5 and 5 feet. And that's traditionally what you see in a lot of homes in Northern California and in the Modesto area. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and we're glad to be here. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to speak regarding this item? All right, seeing none, I will close the public comments and ask council members for comments. Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Lennar Homes, thank you very much for a lovely project that you brought to Modesto. I think the combination of small single-family dwellings and the multi-family residential project is just perfect. The small lot sizes make it affordable and doable for those, many of our residents here in Modesto that were looking for those, that they're not looking for mega mansions, they're looking for exactly what you're providing and in an area that could use more housing. So thank you, you picked a great spot and you're putting a great product on that. I should have asked this earlier and I didn't, but I'll make it in the form of a statement more than a question. I do hope, because I know that you have such an emphasis and a desire to have a beautiful space, one that is inviting, as you indicated, that you not only factor the space inside of the development, but that space that parallels Pellendale and Bangs, that the walls outside of your immediate development is also inviting and beautiful, that not just a wall is placed there, but some type of beautification ensemble that will let the collective community know that inside those walls is yet a lovelier place of residence and community. So I hope you factor that in with full development. But thank you again for coming to Modesto. Love it. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I also share the same sentiments. Thank you for coming to Modesto. The first thing you did right was to bring a consultant like Dave Romano, because he knows the area, and this is a good place, and I hope that this is not the only place in Modesto that you decide to build homes, because as you already know, California needs as many homes as they can get, but yet affordable homes. So thank you for bringing this project to us, and I looked at the project. I actually had the opportunity to stop in for one of the committee meetings and heard more details, and it's going to be a great project, so thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor Bavaro, excuse me.
Thank you, Mayor. Also would like to ditto all the comments made so far tonight. Welcome to Modesto. We would hope that we will see more of you in our town, and we are very happy on what you're planning to do out in this area and in providing affordable housing, as I see it, and I will be supporting this item. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. So this will require 3 votes. The first is a resolution approving a development plan for planned development zone P-D 617.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Escutia-Brayton and a second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. The next is a resolution adopting a mitigated negative declaration for a rezone of 22.6 acres from specific plan zone to planned development zone P-D 617. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Bavaro,
Second.
second by Councilmember Wright, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Next is a motion introducing and waiving the first reading of an ordinance amending Section 1-3-8 of the zoning map to rezone 22.6 acres from specific plan zone to planned development zone P-D 617, property located at the northwest corner of Pellendale Avenue and American Avenue. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Williams,
And
second by Councilmember Escutia Brayton, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez,
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye?
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton,
aye.
and Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Next is item 7, a hearing to consider approving the application and issuance of a permit to operate as a non-emergency medical transport company to All-Star Ambulance, the City of Modesto. And we will have a staff report. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Kalani Souza, Lieutenant, Modesto Police Department. Today we will be presenting on a non-emergency transport application for All-Star Ambulance. Background, All-Star Ambulance has filed their application and their filing fee of $1,000 to provide non-emergency medical transport programs through the City of Modesto that originate within the City of Modesto. These details are outlined in the Municipal Code 3-9.01 to 3-9.20, which outlines everything they have to pass in addition to the requirements for renewal. The police department then conducts a background check on the business itself as well as all of the drivers and employees. All-Star Ambulance has completed and submitted their application. They have paid their $1,000 filing fee, and they have provided all the required documentation. We at the Modesto Police Department have reviewed and approved the application and have concluded that there are no issues with the application itself. All of their ambulances, this is the only ambulance that will be operating in the City of Modesto, do meet the requirements as outlined in the Municipal Code. The staff recommendation tonight is to approve the application and issuance of a non-emergency medical transport permit to All-Star Ambulance. On a side note, we currently have 14 permitted non-emergency transport companies in the City of Modesto, and this would be 15. To put that into context, prior to COVID, we did have in excess of 20. And again, this is only for those transports that originate within our community and are going either elsewhere or going to one of our local hospitals or rehabilitation facilities. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for that report. Does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Is the owner of that here today?
I've spoken to him. I know he was going to try to make it. I'm not sure if he is here today or not.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Councilmember Escutia Brayton.
I wasn't aware that we had less now than we did pre-COVID. That's interesting. Have you found that the services provided by the full spectrum that we had before 20, has that been felt in terms of time for service, or has there been a negative impact?
There hasn't been a negative impact. What this is really those transports that go from the hospital that are going to transport into a rehabilitation facility. Typically, we average around 15 to 20 within the city at any given time within this past 2 years that I have been in the investigative services division, and those fall off for numerous reasons. It could be not renewing their business license. It could be maybe they're moving on elsewhere. It's really with these companies as a business, and they just move elsewhere sometimes. So we haven't felt that much of an impact within our community at this point.
If we were on any given day to have a larger demand for them, and all of the ones we do have are being utilized, do we have the option of having others come in from out of our jurisdiction?
Once they're coordinated through their insurance companies or anything like that, then yes, they are. And typically that's what it is. These are more the ones here in our community. It's usually a member of a family or somebody that calls that arranges that transport. But typically it's the insurance that deals with them, and they could come in provided they meet the requirements within the municipal code.
Interesting. Thank you.
All right, were there any other council members with questions? I felt like there was one other name up there and disappeared, but don't see it. All right, so I will now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 7? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Are there any comments from council members? Seeing none, I have a resolution approving the application and issuance of a permit to operate as a non-emergency medical transport company to All-Star Ambulance in the City of Modesto. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Alvarez,
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scudetto-Brayton,
Aye.
and Mayor Wallen.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I'm calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.